What's up? You're watching Once Upon a Time in Las Vegas, the rise of the greatest sports betting show in the world. I'm your host, Rocky Foré, here with my co-host, Steamroller. How's it going, Steen?
What's up, buddy? How's it going?
Not great, Steamroller.
What? What happened, man? Did they buy crunchy peanut butter for the break room again by mistake?
No, but seriously, what is crunchy peanut butter? Did someone just not finish the job? Did the machine break? I mean, I have a lot of questions about that.
Oh, man. Okay, so if it's not peanut butter gate, what is it, buddy? What's got your dauber down there, Rock?
Well, I just got my Christmas present from Santa, and it's not what I asked for.
Wait. So, okay, let's put a pin in the whole Santa question for a second, but Christmas is still like over a week away. How did you already get your present?
Well, I paid $23,000 for expedited shipping, and which reminds me, Steamroller, we're going to have a big sale on premium picks this week.
Oh, that is such not a surprise. Okay, so wait. All right, what present did you get?
I got an autographed Seneca Wallace jersey.
Okay, well, I certainly believe that you didn't ask for that. I don't think anybody asked for that. And which jersey did you actually ask for?
A Charlie Fry autographed jersey.
Of course you did. That totally checks out.
Exactly, and I got stupid Seneca Wallace instead. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's great, but he's no Charlie Fry. Santa sucks!
Whoa there, buddy. Everybody makes mistakes. Hang on a second. We've got a surprise guest here, Rock.
Is it Charlie Fry?
Oh, ho, ho, hold your reindeer, you oversized man, baby! Santa wants a review!
Nope, I'm here for me, Santa.
Oh, you gotta be freaking kidding me right now. Is this one of those kind of, practical jokers things?
No, sir, Santa, sir.
Oh, ho, ho, I get it. You're one of our special friends. Come on up here and tell Santa what you want this year, young man.
Thanks, Santa, and I think you're really special, too.
Okay, why don't you just stand there and... Oh, what are you trying to kill me? What are you, about 180?
175.
Oh, that's great. Okay, my leg is already going numb. Hurry up and tell me what you want, young man.
I would like an autographed Seneca Wallace jersey.
Who?
Seneca Wallace, Seahawks quarterback from 2003 to 2009, went to Iowa State. In college, he had 26 touchdown passes and 27 interceptions, and he averaged 3.8 yards per carry as a rusher. Hard to believe he wasn't more of a success in the NFL. Anyway, that's what I want. Can you bring that to me?
Sure, kid. Whatever you want. Now get the hell off my lap.
Yes!
Seems like you may owe Santa an apology there, Rock.
Sorry, Santa.
Oh, that's okay, Rocky. We all make mistakes. Santa took Allen Robinson in his fantasy draft this year. Holy crap, did that not work out? Anyway, I'm glad it all worked out for you. And thanks again for ponying up the extra $8,000 for expedited shipping. Well, you really know how to help a Santa out. Ho.
You're welcome, Santa. And did you say $8,000? I paid $23,000 for expedited shipping.
Well, you didn't use the discount code.
Discount code?
Hey, look at the time. Santa's got to go. Busy time of year, you know. Ho, and all that. Merry Christmas, everybody.
I could have had $15,000 off.
Wow, Rocky, we've really started the show off with a bang. Already, you've pissed off Santa and had to apologize. I think we're off and running, don't you?
I think so.
Okay.
What's new? Another Christmas. Another Santa mad at me.
Very good. All right, well, I know it's going to be tough to top that, but let's see if we can do it. We'll bring the cappers on here in just a second. But before I do, I want to remind you guys of a couple things. Don't forget to comment on the video. The best deal on the internet. We give you an opportunity to win $100 just for dropping us a comment in the comment section. Tell us if you like the show. Tell us if you don't like the show. Tell us what you think of Rocky's hair. Anything. Just drop us a comment. And then the following Thursday, you will be entered in a chance to win a $100 gift card It's just like cash, except when you spend like 96 of it, then you have $4 you forget that you have. So we're going to send you like a $96 gift card, most likely. But we will send it to you. Drop a comment. We do the drawing. Rocky and I do it every Thursday. And of course, we are sponsored by No House Advantage. Fantasy sports redefined. You can play for your chance to win up to 21 times your original bet by taking player matchups and over-unders if you play against the house, or you can play against regular folks like yourself for an opportunity to win cash prizes. Go to nohouseadvantage.com or download the No House Advantage app. When you do, you make that first deposit. Make sure you put in the code WNW to give yourself a first deposit bonus up to and including $50. All right. So with that being said, I'm going to bring on a couple guys here, very good handicappers. And by the way, if you're looking to get down on any of our players, on any of our plays, we've got a great deal this week for our three handicappers, myself, the next two gentlemen that are coming on. You can get any of our football plays for the entire week. Spoiler alert, going to have some bowl games in there too. $50. $50 gets you the entire week of plays, the weekend action, the NFL, the Saturday bowl card. It is chock full of games, so you can check that out at the winnersandwhiners.com website, and we'll drop links there in the show description. All right. So, that being said, I'd like to bring on a series regular. He stars in a recurring role, originally from I don't know. Originally from Buffalo, New York, close enough. Now making his home in South Carolina because, we've seen winter in Buffalo. You know him, you love him. He does a show every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern time, right here on the Winners and Whiners YouTube channel, where he talks about what? Just parlays. It's the king of parlays, Chris King. What's up, my friend?
Good to see you, Scott. Good to see you, Rocky. Sorry you lost out on all that money, but here's a better question for you. Why the hell would you pay $23,000 for expedited shipping for something that you probably paid $3 for and you were still overcharged?
I didn't even know where to ask him.
Well, that's why I'm here.
I'm really bad with money.
Yeah, that was painfully obvious from the start of this show.
The other day, I paid $1,200 for a banana. I didn't want to ask the guy how much it was, so I just took it and left $1,200 on the counter.
Hey, Rocky, I got this pre-drank soda here. I'll sell it to you for $5,000.
$5,000? Oh, that's a steal.
It is.
I'll cash app you later.
All right.
Oh, all right. Well, oh man, this is going to be quite a show, and I'll tell you why it's going to be quite a show, because the next cat, he's we would call him fairly opinionated. If you can check him out over there at the Winners and Whiners YouTube channel and other places, he's very, very funny and a hell of a handicapper. I know he's on a heck of a run right now. Let's bring him on. It's Loud Esmond. What's up, Loud?
There's my banana right there. if I'm buying it at Rocky's prices, just saying, that's a pricey banana, my friend.
That's a banana in my pocket, and I'm happy to see you, Rocky. Loud.
That is spendy right there.
Now you're out there on the West Coast, but you're like on the people's West Coast. You're not with those hippies down there and by the ocean. Where are you at, my friend?
Well, I'm in a rural part of central Washington. There's less than 100,000 people in the entire county. It's mostly large acreage properties, and like we say here, if the livestock ever get organized, we're finished.
Okay.
Sounds like Snohomish.
Nearby.
Sounds like a George Orwell wet
Nearby.
dream.
That sounds like a Gary Larson cartoon. Wasn't that the Gary Larson cartoon where the cows are all standing there in somebody else's car and they get down on all fours as the car goes by and goes moo?
There you go.
Oh, I missed the Far Side. All right, guys, we've got a full slate again. All that bye week stuff, it's over. We've also got some Saturday games. No more college ball. That's done until, well, there's also like 7 college games. So much for that theory. There's a full slate of bowl action, but we're going to concentrate on the NFL. But first, as we always do, we have to get past Thursday night because it's usually a terrible, awful match. Whoa, wait now. Hey, here's a game that actually means something. How about that? Brought to you by the NFC West.
It's a typo.
NFC West, not quite as good as you thought they were. NFC West. It's the 49ers traveling up there to Seattle to see the Seahawks. 49ers, 3.5-point road favorites. 43.5 is the total. Rocky, I know this is your team, but this Seattle defense, man, they are no bueno right now. They've given up 27 points per game over their last 5. The offense, well, it may not have KW3. I don't know if that's his nickname, but I'm trying to start it. Walker was out the last game, and they almost certainly won't have DJ Dallas. But you know what? Even with Walker, Walker did play the last game. I'm sorry, but even with Walker here lately, the running game has struggled. They picked up just 64.3 yards per game in their last 3. The Niners, they've got Brock Purdy. Pretty cool. They may be the most complete team in football. I don't know. I think it switched on us all of a sudden. I think maybe the 2 best teams in football are in the NFC this year with the Eagles and the Niners. But I digress. I think this is a Niners team. I think they're going places. I really like the cut of their jib, and I think they cover the number here against the fading Seahawks. Give me the Niners minus 3.5.
Yeah, I've got to be a little concerned because, Purdy's dealing now with an oblique injury. They don't know what his status is. They signed Josh Johnson, who I think has played for more teams than Seneca Wallace. He's right up there in McCown territory. But that's just desperation because, we're talking about, that would be their, 4th quarterback or whatever. Deebo Samuel's hurt. You got to wonder, they're saying he could miss 3 to 6 weeks with the MCL, and I believe it was an ankle injury as well. But like you said, this is a Seahawks defense that can't stop anybody. They let Carolina run all over them to the tune of over 200 yards on Sunday in a game where I thought they were going to win convincingly because I figured Carolina had given up on the season. But of course, just when, as Roddy Piper used to say, just when you think you have all the answers, I change the questions. In this case, Seattle, it doesn't matter if the questions are the same. It doesn't matter if you give them to them ahead of time. They don't have any answers. I'm going to have to take San Francisco, even with a questionable quarterback situation here.
Well, maybe it's West Coast bias, but I'm going to go the other way. The Seahawks always play the 49ers tough, and, they've won 4 of the last 5 outright against the 49ers. And they're playing in Seattle. Seattle's one of the toughest places to play. Either way, you've got a fairly new quarterback going to be playing for the 49ers in a really hostile environment. I don't love the Seahawks to win this game, but they're going to put up a hell of a fight, and I'm going to take them plus the 3.5.
There's a lot going on in this game. Seahawks can't stop the run. They didn't have Shelby Harris and Al Woods last week. If they get those guys back, I think they might have a chance to stop the run and force Mr. Relevant to throw the ball to a tough secondary. Once again, though, is Mr. Relevant going to play? Is Deebo Samuel's not going to play? I don't know. I don't like this one. There's a lot of variables there.
Okay,
I take
good chat.
nothing. Can I do that?
Nothing.
Can I take nothing?
Nothing and like it.
I'll let you know what I feel about this game during the live show on Thursday.
All right, now we move to Saturday, taking up, heading to the Mistake by the Lake. They call it, as the Clevelanders hated being called. The Ravens come to town. May not have a quarterback, but they're coming to town. Browns at home, 2.5-point favorites. Total in this game is 37.5. As I mentioned, Lamar's out. Of course, Huntley's in concussion protocol. Anybody know the third stringer? Anybody know it?
Yeah, it's Anthony Brown from Oregon, formerly of Boston
Oregon.
College.
Yep, there you go. It's Anthony Brown of BCORE. We'll see how that goes. But, between Huntley and Brown last week, Brown came in after Huntley got hurt. They threw just 17 passes. They ran the ball 42 times. I think that's exactly what they want to do. I expect more of the same in this one. The Browns, well, of course, they're run first. With even with Deshaun Watson in there, they still want to run the ball. And I think this Ravens rush defense that is second in yards allowed, third in yards per carry given up, I think they're going to have an answer for this Browns rushing game. I see a lot of dry trips. I see a lot of running clock. Probably lean towards the Browns just because the Ravens quarterback situation is so screwed, but I really like the under 37.5.
I agree with you. I think the under is a solid play here, but if I can't back Deshaun Watson based on what I've seen from him the first 2 games of coming off his suspension, he sucked against
Houston.
Houston, and he wasn't good against Cincinnati either. They finally had an offensive touchdown. If you look at what the Browns game against the Texans, if it wasn't for special teams and defense, they would have lost. I mean,
Tell me about that. I had Houston +8 in that game. Gave up 2 defensive touchdowns and a punt return. I couldn't have been more thrilled.
But I mean, sure, it might be Anthony Brown. It might be, they might get they can go get Joe Flacco, get RG3. Doesn't matter who you stick back there because all they're going to do is turn around and hand the ball off. Like you said, this Cleveland defense is terrible against the run. They made the Chargers actually look good in the ground game earlier this season. We know how bad Los Angeles has been running the ball. This is going to be one of those games. It's not going to be 3 yards in a cloud of dust. It's going to be 6 yards in a cloud of dirt. But in the end, I'll take the Ravens and the points. But I also agree with you about it being an under. But I think Baltimore's got enough juice to get the win because they're trying to hold off Cincinnati in that AFC North.
Yeah, it's just a barf bag of a game between 2 teams that are terribly flawed, and neither one can stop a nosebleed. Both have really big questions at quarterback. And as far as I'm concerned, it's kind of a coin flip. The Browns, of course, you have to lay some points to take them. Just because everybody else is going the other way, I'll be contrarian and take the Browns minus the 2 in the hook.
Lamar Jackson, Tyler Huntley, Anthony Brown, I don't know. Doesn't matter. They're going to run all over the Browns. Anthony Brown is going to make Justin Fields look like Peyton Manning because he's going to run for so many yards. That's a Rockies proppy right there. If Anthony Brown plays, 127, 2 touchdowns on the ground.
Wow.
And 6 yards through the air.
Yep.
That will pay a substantial return there for that prop, my friend. All right, very good. By the way, what do you think about I know the big controversy on gambling Twitter right now is the return of the money on Kyler Murray props. What do you guys think about that?
From my perspective is he played in the game. I know he didn't last long, but I mean, were they going to turn around and did they give back props on Ramondre Stevenson after he got hurt?
Right.
I mean, you have to be consistent. Just because a guy gets hurt doesn't mean that you should give the money back necessarily. I mean, I had Murray on one of my parlays is going for over 35.5 rushing yards or whatever it was. Obviously, that wasn't going to happen. I get where they're trying to foster goodwill, especially after all the fiascos that we saw about people's accounts getting drained and everything on what was that, DraftKings,
right?
But you have to be consistent, and if they're only going to do it because Murray went out on the 3rd play of the game, what happens if let's say you take a Justin Jefferson prop this week and he gets a concussion in the 2nd quarter? Are you going to refund the bets on that? And if not, people are going to be like, well, what the hell? You reversed Kyler Murray's bets. Why aren't you doing it for Jefferson? He got knocked out of the game.
Yep, agreed. Lou, where are you at on this?
Yeah, you know what? You lay your money, you take your chances.
Well, and my argument,
to me, it's ridiculous to give money back.
My argument would be it's already baked into the price. Part of the reason you're paying the number you're paying is because an injury is factored into that price already. Now, it may be a small part of it, but it's part of the equation. It's part of the algorithm that goes into generating a number on that prop. So I think it feels like you're double dipping. And Chris, you bring up the great point as well. Where do you draw the line? First quarter, second quarter, 10 minutes left in the second quarter, 5 minutes left in the third quarter. What are we doing? And if they ultimately just say, you know what, we're tired of you bitching on Twitter about it, we're just going to give anybody that gets hurt in a game, they're going to give them their money back, then that's going to be factored into the price, and we're all going to get a much shittier number.
Well, I tell you what, it's a different thing altogether. But in fantasy football for the past 5 years running, my first round draft pick has been out by the 3rd week of the season for the season.
Get your money back?
So, can we institute a rule that says, can I just get my money back now because my first round draft pick got hurt? I swear to God, because I'm a Raiders fan, and you know this, everybody, and it's painful to me. Just hope I don't pick Patrick Mahomes first in my
I wouldn't complain.
In fantasy football, because I guarantee you he'll be out for the season after week 3.
As a Raiders fan, I don't know if you could bring yourself to do that. Could you take a Chief in the first round as a Raiders fan, buddy?
Well, knowing that I could eliminate Patrick Mahomes for the rest of the season, it would be worth it,
Sure.
right?
Oh, wait,
Well,
we,
you know what they say.
we have Gene Steratore on the. After further review, Lou cannot get his money back. He will be charged an additional entry fee. Timeout.
Yeah, that's the. That's the thing, Lou.
I've had enough of that.
If Mahomes wouldn't have played for the Chiefs this year, the Raiders
would
be in last place. They'd still be terrible. So, actually, I guess Denver's in last place. So, thank God for Denver. It used to be just win, baby. And
thank God for the Colts.
Thank God for Denver.
Good luck with Russell Wilson the next 4 years.
If Santa's not going to give me $15,000 in refund for expedited shipping, I don't think anybody should get their money back for Kyler Murray going out.
That's fair. I think Santa set the precedent. Absolutely. Hey, speaking of the Colts, as they travel to somewhere where it should be weather, there should be snow and ice, and instead they play in a big glass ship up there in downtown Minneapolis. Beautiful stadium. If you haven't seen US Bank, it's cool, but I don't know, something about outside in the winter. I like it. Vikings -4 there on Saturday afternoon. 47.5 is the number. The Colts, good defense, but this offense, I don't care who's at the helm. If it's Matt Ryan, if it's Ellinger, if it's Jeff George, I don't care. If it's some obscure WWE person Chris can pull out of his ass, I don't care who's at the helm. They've scored less than 20 points in 6 of their last 7. In that time, they are 0-6 straight up in those 6 games, 1-5 against the number. The Vikings, I'll admit it on this show, they okey-doked me last week. I thought we were getting a gift against the Lions, and instead, the Lions just dominated the Vikings in that game. But I can't trust this team in Indianapolis that can't score the rock. Give me the Vikings at home. Skol, baby, -4.
Yeah, I'll go with the Vikings, too. I wasn't going to pull out WWE guy. I was going to go more with Art Schlichter. Remember him?
Oh, nice. 5-1 says you can remember Art Schlichter.
3-1 says Schlichter would have, run up the points so he could try to get a better spread.
Oh, man.
And 2-1 says he would have thrown a pick 6 intentionally and fallen down while the guy was running it back. But I digress. Granted, the Vikings, you weren't the only one who got okey-doked. A lot of people got roped on that last week after the line moved and saw Minnesota was getting points.
Now, Reichel on Twitter after the game said the Vikings were 2-point underdogs. What did you think was going to happen? That's an impressive tweet if you make it before the game.
Yeah.
Telling me what happened after the game already happened? No. Sorry, Reichel. I wish he was here this week. I was going to roast his nuts for that. Anyway, sorry, Chris.
Oh, no, you're fine. The thing is, the Vikings, the worst defense in the NFL, they're 10-3 with a -1 point differential this season. So when they lose big. When they win games close. But like you said, this is a Colts offense that is terrible. Granted, they come off a bye, so I think they squeaked out a win over the bye team 7-3. It's kind of like watching Iowa football. But in the end, I think Minnesota,
somebody write that down. Somebody write down Iowa. It's like playing a bye week. Nobody's ever done that. Anyway, sorry.
I think you're looking here. It's Kirk Cousins. He's not playing in prime time, so we can expect a decent performance from him. He looked good last week. He threw for 426 yards. The Colts defense is good, but like you said, they don't score. And unless they're going to pull a Browns of 2 weeks ago and score 3 touchdowns on defense and special teams, they're not going to score enough to beat Minnesota. I'll take the Vikings -4.
Yeah, I'm going to round that out with the same pick. This is a meaningless game that is not on national television, which means Kirk Cousins will play just fine. And the Colts are just terrible on offense, decent defense, but the defense is going to be on the field too much because the offense can't keep the ball and score. So the Vikings bounce back and get a win against another bad football team, which are the teams that they beat. Vikings -4.
Let me ask you guys a quick question before we get Rocky's thoughts. Is it possible the Vikings are kind of have taken it down a gear or two? They've pretty much won the division. Are they? I think they've officially locked it up. Have they?
No, they missed the chance because Detroit won.
Okay, so they're in the same boat as the Chiefs. Basically, their magic number is 1. So they know they're not going to get the number 1 seed. So is there a temptation, or are they doing it? Is there a little less drive, a little less motivation? Could that help explain the performance against the Lions?
It could, but you also have to take in consideration that this is a Vikings team that really hasn't done anything in the playoffs. Can you afford to take your foot off the gas knowing how badly you play in the postseason? I mean, I know you're trying to avoid injuries, but I mean, you're already minus Darisaw, who's been out for the last couple weeks with a concussion. I don't think they can afford to ease off because this is a team that, like we said, a -1 point differential on the year. How many teams do you see that are 10-3 that have a negative point differential?
Loud, am I barking up the wrong tree?
Well, I think a bit because I think it matters looking at the standings that I think the Vikings would want to maintain the number 2 seed, which would guarantee that they would, on the opening weekend, face the worst team in terms of record. So I would think that would be important. That you guarantee that you get a home game and the worst team plays you and travels to you.
Rock, you got thoughts on this game and what the Vikings are doing right now?
Yes, my thoughts are very simple. The Colts have less wins than the Vikings, therefore the Vikings will win.
Okay, well, that's certainly a unique strategy for handicapping. You don't care about the points? You're just going to...
I don't care. Points don't matter.
And this shows you why. This shows you why Rocky has problems with money.
Oh my goodness! All right,
points don't matter. Said no football prognosticator.
but Drew Carey did on Whose Line Is It Anyway? So maybe that's where he's going with it.
Oh man! All right, very good. Hey, it's the Saturday night game.
You aren't who your record says you are.
That's very true.
Huh?
You should go back and at some point, maybe at the end of the season, we'll do everybody's record. That would involve bookkeeping, and for anybody that watches my daily videos and how I score my handicappers, they know that that's not my forte. I feel like whenever I do the show, and I tell, and I feel like when Newman delivered the mail, and then you stay with the shot in the hall, and everybody goes across and exchanges each other's mail. That's how I feel doing the data entry on my.
Yeah, I can see you doing that. Yeah, Bronco Devil was 2-6, and he'll be like, "I only picked one fucking game. How the hell are they 2-6?"
Yeah, it's not quite that dramatic, but somebody's like, "Oh, usually I miss them. I just whatever. It's not. I do my best, guys. That's all I can tell you. I do my best. Hey, it's the Saturday night game. Nothing better than a Saturday night snow game. And Chris, the weatherman, has an updated weather forecast. I was operating under Monday's forecast, which called for about an inch of snow with a little bit of wind. However, it's now been updated to lake effect snow warning. 4 to 8 inches of snow is possible on Saturday. There
8 to 12 in some areas, which is normally right around where Orchard Park is.
Nice.
So
that's what my wife gets every weekend. 8 to 12. Just you can't decide.
Millimeters.
And then she comes home. So it's the Bills, 7.5 point home favorites against the Dolphins, a team always known for their ability to really just play well in cold weather. 42 is your number. It's going to be 25 degrees, as I mentioned. 18-mile-an-hour winds, gust up to 25 off of Lake Erie. Gordon Lightfoot didn't like it, and no, was that Erie, Ontario? It was Erie, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I thought I had it. Lost it in the lights.
It wasn't. He also didn't like the Edmund Fitzgerald.
Well, it's the big lake they call Gitchagumi.
I can never remember where that comes in the mnemonic for the Great Lakes. It's Michigan Gitchagumi, and that's why but it is Erie, right? Yeah, it is Erie. So anyway, man, we've gone down a lot of rabbit holes, mainly driven by me. My apologies. It sounds like it, Rocky. You guys are going to be busy in post. That's all I'm saying.
All the rabbit holes, cut it out.
Yeah. By the time people are going to go, what is he even talking about? It sounds like a great night to be in Miami. It really does. The Bills, they have outgained the Miami Dolphins when they went down there and played in that blazing heat last time. 397 yards to 212, but they missed a field goal. They fumbled at the 7, and they couldn't score after having 1st and goal at the 2. That's why they lose that one by 3. Chargers defense just shut down Miami. Anybody here aware the Chargers had a defense? I was not. What do you think the Bills defense is going to do? Shiver. I think the Bills minus the 7.5 is the play in this one.
Yeah, I think this one screams mercy, where this would have been where Cobra Kai would have fit in nicely with no mercy, because I think you just watched Tagovailoa started 3 of 17 against the Chargers, who have basically Mike Davis at corner, and that's about it because Derwin James didn't play and Bosa didn't play.
It's not often that I look at a game and go, I could almost do that as a quarterback. But if you're 3 of 17, I'm getting close.
And you look, they scored 2 touchdowns. One was off that fumble where it looked like somebody punched the ball forward so Tyreek Hill could pick it up. And the other one was because Davis fell down. Those are your 2 touchdowns in the game. Now you've got to go and play in the snow, in the weather, in the wind. Miami had heated benches in Los Angeles when it was 55 degrees. It's going to be 25, and when you factor in the wind chill, we're probably looking at, I'll be generous and say, the low teens.
Oh, I was going to say well into the single digits at that point, probably.
I was trying to be generous and make Miami feel good, but let's face it, Buffalo's defense, sure, they lost Von Miller on Thanksgiving, but this pass rush has harassed Mac Jones, and they made Mike White look like a tackling dummy on Saturday. I felt bad, or Sunday, I felt bad for the guy. To quote Bob Uecker, that guy's got a family to think about. I mean, he got ragdolled around. Miami's missing both tackles. Austin Jackson got hurt again after he played one game after coming off IR. Teron Armstead is hurt. Tyreek Hill is limping around. Jeff Wilson got hurt. Does Miami have anybody left? Does it matter? No. Buffalo wins this one in a row.
I'll tell you what, you forgot to mention Greg Rousseau, who does an excellent job. I never saw anybody patrolling the out passing lanes you want to throw those quick outs. He must have an incredible wingspan, because
I think they said his wingspan is I want to say it's 6'10" or something like that.
I see him knock one of those little quick outs down about once every other game. Of course, he did it against Chiefs last year and actually caught it and ran it back for a touchdown. That was fun. But and I just saw him do it again a couple weeks ago. I'm like,
and then the Chiefs did that. The Chiefs did that against
Willie
Denver
Gay.
last
Absolutely right. What do you got here, Loud?
Bills minus whatever.
Okay.
Like the saying goes on Twitter, Bills by $1 billion.
Very good. Very good.
Look, I'm with Loud here. Hey, what's the saying? Karma's a bitch. The Miami Dolphins have been messing with people on the sidelines, messing with teams, making it 120 degrees on the sideline. Now they got to go to Buffalo and play in ice cold weather. They're going to wish they could leave at halftime. Bills, points don't matter. Points don't matter.
How are they making it hot? How do the Miami Dolphins make the weather hot?
They do a little dance before the game.
I see.
A little sun dance.
One side of the stadium gets sun all day, and the home side of the stadium is in shade by kickoff.
Yeah, that was the thing with the Vikings. With the Vikings too. That's why Buffalo had so many players cramp up and have heat exhaustion, was because of that fact in September. And by the way, Miami won that game by 2, not 3. It was 21-19.
Oh, well, shit. Okay. Sorry. Yeah, don't everybody tune out there, because I screwed that one up completely. All right. And I think I'm surprised this number has actually gone up a half a point. I think between the wind, I know that's on the back of Buffalo, but I think Miami's going to do nothing in this game. I think between the wind and the snow, I think you got to play the under there too, right? 42.5. As the snow becomes more in focus and people start looking at the forecast more, that number's got to plummet. Am I right?
You would think so, but I've watched games in Rich Stadium, well, the former Rich Stadium, now Highmark Stadium, where Kelly and Marino locked up and the game was 44-34, and I get Tua is not Marino, and Allen, he's not Kelly but he's more mobile and things like that. I don't know if you'll get to 42, and I see FanDuel has it at 42.5.
Right, that's what I said. Yeah, under 42.5.
I mean, it might end up. It could be 30, 28 or 31-10 or something like that. I don't think he'll quite get to the over, barring some fluke like we saw where they punch a fumble forward and run it back for a score. But I agree with you. I don't think Miami does a whole lot here.
Loud, you on the under 2 here in this one?
Yeah, I don't think Miami's going to score much of anything, and the Bills' motivation to score won't be high. And their offense has been a little off the past few weeks. So yeah, I'd lean.
All right. So
under.
you not
Speaking of retired receivers signing, Buffalo signed Cole Beasley today.
Of course they did.
So Beasley will go back. He'll go back in the slot and replace McKenzie, who leads the team in drops.
All right, very good. All right, guys. Well, that's going to do it for the first segment. This is kind of like watching network TV, where the first segment is like really long, and then there's more commercials faster as it goes on. That's how this one's going to be. I promise you the next 3 segments won't be as long as this one. But hey, we talked about my premium plays up top, and I'm going to hit them again. I've been 12-5 over my last 17 NFL best bets. I got another one lined up for Sunday. I got another one lined up for Monday, and I got another one lined up for Thursday night. If you're watching this video before the game, get yourself down on my premium plays, get my football package for the rest of the week for $50, includes all my picks from the bowl games as well as the NFL. Use the link, get signed up there, or go to winnersandwhiners.com, check out the expert pick tab. We'll be right back after these hilarious sketches.
What you got there, Rocky?
It's a letter from Dr. Pepper.
Impressive. A letter from the man himself. But why is he writing to you?
I entered the scholarship contest a couple months ago. These are the results. Well, what are you waiting for? Open that bad boy up! But I'm afraid. What if they say no?
Rocky, let me tell you a story about an undersized linebacker from Oklahoma City.
Sheriff, he opened it already.
What's it say?
Dear Rocky, we received your submission and have reviewed it thoroughly. And after much consideration, we are pleased to inform you that you have been selected to compete at this year's Big 12 championship game for an opportunity to win $10,000 scholarship.
Hey, Rocky, that's a big deal. Now you can finally go back to high school, get all those credits you're missing. Well, like you need 120 to graduate, right? How many do you have right now?
6.
Ooh, not sure if 10 grand will get you there, but it is a nice start. So look, just remember, the key is to making sure you step into the throw. Let your back foot generate the power as you open your hips and land on your opposite foot with your toes pointed toward the target.
No, you gotta do it like a chest pass in basketball. 2 hands and step with the pass.
What, he's not Bob friggin' Cousy. Throw the ball like a man. You ever see Tom Brady make a chest pass?
No, you guys got it wrong. It's all about speed. You gotta go underhand, real quick with it. Boom, boom, boom.
You're wrong. I played football.
2 hands. You gotta do it with 2 hands.
That is genius. You are a
It's
genius,
the back
my friend.
foot. You generate your power through the back foot.
Boom,
I know
boom, boom,
because
boom,
I played
It's like
football.
skee
If you're
ball.
twisting your
Underhand,
body,
underhand.
it takes
Boom,
too
boom,
much time to
over,
grab the
one
ball.
under.
Touche. That's
He
that's a
secretly
good one.
watches tech.
Yeah.
When no one's
Have you
looking,
thought of
he
that?
secretly watches tech.
I'm right.
Bada bing, bada
This
boom.
is the best one. Yes.
Okay, here we go. On your mark, get set, go.
Point your toes.
Underhand, underhand.
Step into the pass. Step and pass.
Once cheese on the burger, lobster just need to let the spirit of Dr. Pepper go.
3, 2, 1, time.
Come on, Zach. It's time to go.
Daddy, I don't want to go.
Now, son, you have to go.
No, I don't.
Now, Zach, you made a commitment to BYU and the Mormon Church. So you got to go on a 2-year mission. I don't care what you say.
Then maybe I will go to Boise State.
Okay, Zach, you can't just make threats that you're going to Boise State every time you don't get your way, okay?
But Daddy.
But their turf is blue, okay? You know how you get around blue things. We don't want to have that happen again.
I don't care, Daddy. I don't want to go on mission.
Now, if you want to be a part of this family and our religion, you have to go on mission.
But Daddy, they don't have Pellegrino in Haiti.
I don't care, damn it.
But Daddy, I just want to hang around with Mom and her book club. Hey, Mike.
Okay, Zach, do you realize if you don't go on mission, the bad karma that you are bringing on yourself?
Like what, Daddy? I get picked second in the NFL draft?
There are worse things than getting picked second.
Like what, Daddy? I get picked second by the Jets?
There's something even worse than that, son.
What do you know about life, Daddy? You married into a family that owns multiple airlines.
Yeah, well, you could get drafted second by the Jets and you could get benched by a 5th rounder.
A 5th rounder on my team?
That's why you need to go on mission.
But Daddy, I've got to feed my hyena.
Well, Zach, you don't even have a damn hyena, okay? What the hell are you even talking about?
But Daddy, I want a hyena now.
You see, Zach, you decide not to go on mission, and you ended up getting picked second by the Jets and getting benched for Mike White.
Oh, come on, Jacob Marley. There were a lot more factors going into that than just me not wanting to go on mission.
Nope, it all came down to this.
But that hyena was pretty cool.
Well, your dad spent 3 months in sub-Saharan Africa capturing and domesticating a hyena that you said you would feed and clean up his poop, and you never did.
I fed him a couple times.
Do I have to show you that too?
Daddy, get me that hyena now.
All right, everybody. Well, welcome back. Let's talk a little NFC South, shall we? As the Sunday games get rolling down in New Orleans, Falcons come to town. Saints 4-point home favorites, and the total in this game is 43. It's kind of a shame. This is kind of almost like a Denver team here with the Saints. The defense good enough to be in the playoffs. It also tells you all you need to know about their offense, which is 21st in the NFL in scoring. And it has gotten worse over the last month and a half. New Orleans averages 15 points per game over their last 6. In that period of time, the under is 5-1. Meanwhile, Atlanta, not exactly burning it up in the end zone themselves. They've scored they've scored 17 or more just once in their last 5. 7 of their last 10 have gone under the total. Who wins? Who cares? Give me the under 43.
Yeah, I think you've got to go with the under here because Atlanta's making the move to Desmond Ridder, who last we saw was getting smacked around in the college football playoff when he played at Cincinnati. Now he's going to get a chance to start because I guess, the Falcons finally got sick and tired of Mariota throwing interceptions near the end zone and late in games when they have a chance to take the lead. Like you said, we've looked at this Falcons team. The sad part is both these teams both still in the division race despite being 5-8 and 4-9 respectively. That just shows you how bad the NFC South is. New Orleans, they could be competent offensively if they'd stop turning the damn ball over. 21 turnovers this season. They've only got 8 takeaways, which is the worst number in the league. I'm going to have to go under. If I was going to lean aside, I'd have to lean towards New Orleans just because as much as Rocky loves Andy Dalton, at least he has a track record in the NFL, which is something you can't say for Desmond Ridder.
I'm going to go Desmond Ridder here and say he's going to play well for the Falcons, and he is going to lead them to be within at least 4. This is one where I think both teams are kind of suck, and it'll just be a scramble, and you're going to give me more than a field goal on either team, and I'm going to take the team that's getting the points. So give me the Falcons plus the 4.
My favorite Boston song, by the way. More than a field goal. Rocky, what do you got?
More than a
I'm with Loud here too. I like Desmond Ridder. I like these guys, these young guys. They got nothing to lose. Andy Dalton, meanwhile, is just destroying his career, pass after pass after pass, and Jameis Winston's just sitting there on the sideline laughing. The Saints, unlike the Carolina Panthers, are not seizing the opportunity to take the division. Look, they lost to the Bucs. They had that game right in their hands, and they let it go away. I want the Falcons because the Saints are doing nothing but shooting themselves in the foot.
Okay. All right. Very solid.
I hate them.
A nice rational pick from Rocky, everybody. Hey, let's head to the Meadowlands. Check out the Big Apple as the Lions come to town to take on the Jets. The line on this one is pick 'em. Try to pick one.
The line on this one is bipolar because if you look at the lines now, depending on where you go, it's either a pick 'em, it's either Detroit getting 1 or Detroit favored by 1.
Loud, I know you're old enough to know when, especially at the guy down the corner, those lines would either be plus or minus 1. Nobody was getting them. It was always -1. So good
one
time.
or the other.
Yep, exactly. Chris, you probably remember that too, man. No pick'em games. But here's the deal. Lions, you win. I'm done fading you. Okay. You've won in coverage 6 straight. The defense is what's really turned it around. This was a unit that was giving up 32.1 points per game over their first 7. Over the last half dozen games, just a shade over 20 at 20.3 points per game. You start giving up 12 points less, you're going to win some games, and that's what's going to happen with the Lions. For the Jets, I don't know, man. Is Mike White really going to be ready after going to the hospital? Seriously? I know he's tough, but come on. You got to have some internal injuries there. If he does play, 0% chance that he is at 100%. I'm doing it. Taking the Lions, the hottest team in football. Give me the Lions.
Yeah, I think you've got to go with Detroit. Like you said, White was smacked around. He looked like a guy facing Tyson in his prime.
I
those tomato
honestly,
cans.
Chris, when I saw that second one, I thought for a quick second it was a replay of the first one. I had to go, wait a minute, that was another one. So yeah,
I watched Milano fold him up like a cheap suit, and I thought he was dead at that point. I was like, I was ready to cue up the Karate Kid and say, somebody get a body bag.
Nice.
Because, let's face it, he got knocked around at a ridiculous rate. They say he's probable, according to the injury report. Yeah, he's probable to be, needing an oxygen mask because he's probably going to get smacked around by Detroit because that Jets offensive line is terrible. Quinnen Williams is questionable after he left that game Sunday. That's going to be a big blow if he doesn't play for the Jets. But like you said, this is a Detroit team that's played really good football of late. They've won 5 of 6. They're in the hunt in the playoff race. Who would have thought that in December? When's the last time Detroit's had a meaningful game in December that didn't involve jockeying for draft pick position? I'm going to take the Lions here, and the Jets are just continuing that slow fade back into irrelevancy because they'll fall to 500 on the year with a loss.
Last time I saw something fold up like White did on that hit, I was on a cruise ship to Alaska, and it was an Adirondack chair that trapped me inside, and it took like 3 people from the cruise ship to get me out.
I would have paid money.
So, yeah, no.
It's probably on YouTube somewhere.
Yeah, probably. It was uncomfortable, to say the least. Anyway, we got an upgrade. I'm going to go Lions here, too. The Lions are one of the hottest teams in football. That defense has gotten a lot better. And I picked them to be a playoff team at the beginning of the season. I may fall just short, but I wasn't that far off.
Lions.
Okay. Good.
Dynamite drop in, Rocky. That broadcast school really paid off.
Thank you. I almost graduated.
All right, the Houston Texans, who seem to play every game at home for some reason. This week they'll be entertaining the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs come to town as 2-touchdown favorites. 14 points is the number in this one. 48.5 is your total. Well, kids, you got to see what it's like being a Chiefs fan all wrapped into one game last week. You saw the good, you saw the bad, and you saw the ugly. I wish I could whistle because I do it right there. Dynamite first 20 minutes or so, 23 minutes, and then everything went wrong against Denver. They were lucky to get the win. They didn't cover after being up 23-zip. Houston,
27-zip.
Or 27-zip, really. Sorry, yep. Houston, meanwhile, well, they gave the Cowboys everything they wanted in the battle for Texas. Probably should have won if they would have run a different play than an Army option. Perhaps they would have won, or if the quarterback would have perhaps pitched the ball. But anyway, the Chiefs, you haven't noticed, they tend to play down to the level of their competition. Yes, the Texans are better with Davis Mills. He got the start last week. I assume he'll be back at the helm this week. I'm going to take the Texans plus 2 touchdowns here.
Yeah, as much as I hate the Chiefs, and I hate them even more after that performance last week. By the way, teams that have led by 27 points in the last 2 decades have gone 7-0-3, 7-2 against the spread. Thanks, Chiefs, for becoming the 7th team to be put in the loss column in that category.
They're 1%ers, buddy. 1%ers.
Yeah, I have to, I have to lean towards Houston. I took them with the points last week. I figured that Dallas, was probably going to play with their food. And like you said, they nearly lost that game outright. The The weird thing with Houston is they're not playing one quarterback, they're playing two because they've got Jeff Driscoll in there too. And you know the old saying about if you have two quarterbacks, you don't have any. Well, I mean, we're talking about a team that's got a win and a tie in 13 games. I'll take the points. If you were going to play the abusive money line, then I would take Kansas City. But let's face it, nobody's going to put down that kind of money except Rocky, who thinks that, minus 800 or minus 1,000 is a good deal because he thinks he's actually saving money because there's a minus in front of it.
The Texans are ugly and bad, but good enough to cover 14 against the Chiefs. Here's why. If you're going to almost lose to the Denver Broncos, I'm going to take the Texans with the points. In these big point spread games, the Texans have been covering for me, and they covered for me again last week, plus 17 against Dallas. I'm going to take the Texans and the 2 touchdowns.
Interesting stat for you too, Scott and Loud. Houston is 5-4 against the spread when the over-under is over 43. This total's at 48.
Yeah, good point.
The Texans got some fight in them. Lovie Smith's got that team fighting like they could get a second win. And the Chiefs, we watched that game last week. We saw Patrick Mahomes get up by 27 and then just start. I don't know what he was doing. Steehn, what was he doing? He looked like if someone was like, "Hey, Rocky, go out there and like do something cool." He's chucking the ball from like a 20-degree angle, like at the defenders.
That part was...
Andy Reid just decides not to run the ball anymore. Do they have a running back? Isaiah Pacheco gets like 7 carries a game.
I saw that they ran the ball 8 times after they got up 27-0, and 4 of them came on the last drive when they were trying to kill the clock.
Yes!
And that's just...
You have to wonder, would they have lost that game if Russell Wilson didn't get knocked out with the concussion? Because let's face it, nobody's intimidated by Brett Rippon.
That's an incredibly irrelevant question. Yes, that's... if you'd have had him on that last drive, he had some Russ Menum going, no question about it. That was to be in a position to possibly lose that game. That was like the most Chiefs thing ever. It really was.
Reminds you of that Colts playoff game
come within 10
a few years
ago.
So
I believe we're going to we have a super fan with an opinion on this team here as the Eagles travel to Soldier Field to take on the Bears. A little Mike Matarsky coming up for you here, guys. But the Eagles, 9-point road favorites. 48.5 is the total. As I mentioned before, I really think the 2 best teams in football are in the NFC. Tell me, especially if the Niners are 100% healthy, or at least with Purdy, are they not favorites over KC, Cincy, or Buffalo on a neutral site?
Well, you're banking it on if they're healthy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you could say that about any team, that they could be better than somebody else. I don't know if San Francisco would be favored over.
All right, how about just with Debo back?
I still don't know if they'd be favored over any of those teams, honestly. I mean, okay. Kansas City is a very explosive offensive team. Buffalo has a defense that can match up with San Francisco's, even without Miller. And Cincinnati has all of a sudden decided that they want to play football after we saw them stink out the joint in September.
Okay. All right. Very good. The Bears team, this is a dreadful Bears team. They are just no, they're not. They're not good.
They are Mike Matarsky that he's going to show up at your house.
They are 1-9. That's probably true. They are 1-9 since the month of September. 3-7 against the spread. I don't think the new winning streak starts in this one. Eagles have shown themselves to be able to take care of business against big numbers after they screwed around in Houston and cost me. Since then, they've been fine covering up the big numbers. They did it against the Giants last week. I think they do it here again in this one. I think that's a great price. Give me the Eagles -9.
Yeah, it's actually at 8.5 at PointsBet right now too. As of Tuesday afternoon.
Picture in my mind people walking in going, "Give me the Bears! Love me some Bears!"
You look here, the Bears are 27th in the league against the run. What did we see Philadelphia do to the Giants? I mean, Miles Sanders had a career high in rushing yards. Jalen Hurts ran the ball. Boston Scott ran the ball. Kenneth Gainwell ran the ball. I think Steve Van Buren got in there. Marion Motley probably got to play some. I don't think the Bears have any kind of weapons defensively, when you look at their best players are either out or questionable at best.
Or traded.
Or traded. That's true. Roquan Smith gone, and as such, I don't see the Bears, even playing at Soldier Field, being able to hold up and cover the line here. By the way, the Bears 0-4, failing to cover in their last 4. Philadelphia's covered 3 straight. All 3 have gone over the number, so I'd look for the over there too, because Philadelphia, we saw them put up 48 on the Giants. How many can they put up on a bad Bears defense?
Yeah, you could definitely see mid-30s there, no question.
Khalil Mack was traded to the Chargers, I believe, but he's been on a milk carton all season. I have no idea what he's done. I haven't
started
seen him
strong,
have
had
any
like a
major
good,
impact
had
on
a great
game.
game against the Chiefs. I think he had like 2 good games to start the season, and then he's been the Khalil Mack of the last 3 years.
The only question here for me on this game of the Eagles and the Bears is, why is this line not higher? Eagles -9, 8.5 seems a short price to me on this, which always makes me suspicious. But look, I'm just going to go with the obvious and say the Eagles are one of the best teams in the NFL. The Bears are one of the worst, and the Eagles may run for 500 yards.
Darius Slay said that he could catch 1,500 yards from Jalen Hurts if he played wide receiver. I think that would happen if he played the Bears every week. They could line Darius Slay up at wide receiver, and he'll go for like 180. I think it's easy. It's the Eagles. Like Loud said, how is it only 9 points? Why isn't this one not 19? Like the Cowboys were last week.
Hopefully we're not getting the old okey doke there again with that line like we did.
Just a question, Rock. If it was 19, would you take the Bears?
I wouldn't take the Bears if Dan Orlovsky had a gun to my head.
What if Dan Orlovsky was running out of the back of the end zone while you had a gun to your head?
Then I would take the Bears.
Was oddly specific, Rock. All right. Well, that's segment number 2 done. You're halfway home. Hey, Chris, I know you've been red hot over there with the parlays and the picks. Tell us about what you got going on, buddy.
Yeah, well, we had a 3-team parlay on the show the other day that panned out. And, with the NFL and, of course, bowl season coming, there's plenty of football action to deal with, and we'll be covering it all. But I'm 10-3 in the last 13 college football picks. 7-3, I think, in the last 10 in the NFL. So, like Steehn said earlier, go over to the experts page on Winners and Winers. You can get all the NFL and college picks for the next week for $50, and that's a pretty good savings when you get right down to it. Because at the end of the day, you'll be putting more money in your pocket than you spent in the first place.
Heck of a deal. By the way, $50 with our normal best bet is. So just saying, $50 for the whole week. Hell of a deal. All right, guys, that's one more segment in the books. Stay tuned, and we'll be right back after this. Rock?
Yeah.
We haven't gone to break yet?
Yeah, this is where your sketch goes.
No, this is where your sketch goes, dude.
What are you talking about?
Look, we did the Zach Wilson sketch. We did the Fansville sketch. We did the Santa thing. Pretty sure this is your sketch, my friend.
Oh, right. Okay, let me do that real quick. There we go.
That was fast. What did you just do?
Oh, I had an AI program a sketch for me.
Wait, you just had artificial intelligence write a sketch that you were supposed to write?
Yep.
Oh, this is going to go well.
Come on. Yes! No, come on! Man, can't believe the NFL is still going on without any fans in the stands.
I know, it's like watching a game of ghost football.
At least the players get to play for a ghost crowd and pretend they're still popular.
Yeah, and the coach is going to make ghostly halftime adjustments.
And the referees get to make ghostly calls and still get booed by the invisible fans.
Wait. I don't want to interrupt your sketch, Rocky, but were the main characters 2 ghosts watching ghost football?
I don't know, Steehn. They just were.
It doesn't make any sense.
Fine. If you want everything explained to you, I'll just have the AI rewrite it, and they'll make the ghosts make sense.
No, come on! Man, can't believe the NFL is still going on without any fans in the stands. It's like watching a game of ghost football.
Yeah, and the players are all ghosts too. I heard that the league has been using advanced hologram technology to create ghost versions of the players so they can continue playing without risking infection from the deadly virus that's sweeping the country.
Rocky, it still makes no sense. What does this have to do with anything about the current NFL season? This feels like it's about 2020.
I don't know, Steehn. Use your imagination.
It just needs to be more relevant.
Fine. I'll make it more in tune with pop culture.
Yes! Man, I can't believe how much I love this show. It's like watching a bunch of hilarious and charming ghosts from the past.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's like we're getting a glimpse into a different time and place, but with a timeless sense of humor and wit. It's like watching a ghost story, but with laughs instead of scares.
Exactly, and the characters are all so well developed and likable, even the ones that are annoying or grumpy. It's like they're real people, but with a touch of the supernatural. Like ghosts, we can't help but love and admire.
I know, right? And the way they use humor to deal with the stress and trauma of war is so inspiring and relatable. It's like they're showing us how to find laughter in the darkest of situations, like ghosts that are guiding us through life's challenges with a smile and a joke.
That is a great way to put it, and even though the show is set during the Korean War...
Wait, are they watching MASH now?
You wanted pop culture references.
Why are there still ghosts? And for God's sakes, why is it so long?
Fine, I'll take out the ghosts and make it shorter.
I love how this show balances humor and drama so well. It's like watching a bunch of hilarious and charming characters navigate the challenges and hardships of war.
That's still MASH!
Oops, I'll tell it to take out the TV show MASH.
I can't believe we're actually in the Korean War. It's like a nightmare come true.
Yes, Sergeant! And all the soldiers are so brave and resilient. It's like they're ghosts sent from the future to help us.
God damn it.
What's up, Hot Lips?
Do it and you're cool! Do it and you're cool! Do it and you're cool!
Are you sure it doesn't hurt?
Dude, it's too cold for it to hurt.
Yeah, you won't even feel the pain till April.
And if I really try it, you're gonna let me come to your birthday party, right? You're not just pulling my leg?
Of course not. Do it and you're cool! Do it and you're cool! Do it and you're cool!
As far back as I could remember, I always wanted to be a Buffalo fan. To me, being a Bills fan was better than being president of the United States, even before they lost 4 straight... I'm okay.
Looking great, buddy.
Sup, bitch? Now you know what it feels like.
You know, maybe I should invite him to my birthday party if he's gonna pull some shit like this.
Oh, that seems so much easier on TV.
All right, everybody, welcome back. It's part 3 as we take a look at the next 4 games on this NFL week numero 15. I don't know how to say 15 in Espanol. I only had what's that?
Quince.
Very good. I know 14 is 40 from the U2 song. That's all I know.
14 is 14.
14? See, I know nothing. I literally
Correnta is 40.
Thank you very much, Chris. I obviously getting a lot of Spanish growing up there at the Canadian border. So well done. Let's talk a little Steelers Panthers right down there in your backyard, Chris. I don't know what is Charlotte, like 300 miles away.
No, it's like about 2 hours.
Okay, fair enough. Panthers, home favorites. Whoa, read that again. The Panthers, 2.5-point home favorites over the vaunted Pittsburgh Steelers. 38.5 is your number. Well, kids, the Carolina Panthers, they have picked up the gauntlet and trying to dethrone TB12 and the Buccaneers, just 1 game behind. And here's a fun fact. They have the same exact point differential at -30. High-quality teams in that division. I'm leaning Carolina in this one, but either way, I think it's going to be a grind. Whether it's going to be Pickett, whether it's going to be Trubisky, this Steelers team wants to get back to running the ball against a Panthers defense that has shown some vulnerability to the ground game. I think the Steelers defense is still solid. A bold prediction in this game, neither team gets to 20. Give me the under 38.5.
Yeah, I think you touched on an important part. You don't know who's going to play quarterback for the Steelers. It could be Pickett. It could be Mitch Trubisky. I heard Bubby Brister was in town. No comment on whether Mark Malone was on the side of the practice squad. But I think you're right. This is a Carolina team that's played better football of late. You're looking at a Pittsburgh team that lost Chris Wormley to torn knee ligaments, so he's done for the year on the defensive line. And we just saw Carolina run the ball repeatedly down the throats of Seattle. I get that Pittsburgh's defense is better than the Seahawks, but they're still a middle of the pack team in run defense. I think you're going to see a lot of Donta Foreman. You're going to see a lot of Blackshear. You're going to see Chuba Hubbard, and For as excited as everybody was about Najee Harris, has he done anything that really has impressed anyone since he came into the league? I don't think that there's enough help there for whoever plays quarterback for Pittsburgh. I'll take the points, but you're right. I think it's going to be like a 17-10 type of game or 17-12. But 20 points, they'd have a parade in Pittsburgh, held or sponsored by Proppys Brothers, if the Steelers could actually score 20 points.
The Panthers are playing angry. They're running angry. They're hitting angry. They're crushing their Gatorade cups angry on the sidelines. I like angry football teams. Give me Carolina -2.5.
Proppys Brothers, where their slogan is, "Why is there coleslaw on my sandwich?" Rock, what do you got here?
No, Proppys Brothers is, we put fries on everything.
True. Also true.
Loud's hit a good point. The Panthers are angry ever since the rule of Matt Rule was over. Their defense is playing hard. They see the finish line. They see first place in the division, and they're going for it. I like the Panthers. I love them. Give me the Panthers. The Steelers don't know what they're doing.
All right. Very good. Now, here's a team that had a win last week that really affected this line, and that's the Jaguars. Cowboys come to town down there in North Florida, take on the Jags. 4.5 is the number here for the Cowboys. 47.5 is the total. I think if the Jaguars would have played like we thought they were going to play last week against the Titans, I think this number is closer to 10. But the Jaguars, very impressive against the Titans. And you know how they did it? They beat them by torching the terrible pass defense of the Tennessee Titans for 388 yards. This team still cannot run the football, and you're going to need to run it against Dallas because it's unlikely they're going to torch them through the air against this Dallas defense. Incredible stat of the week coming up. They have given up more than 213 yards passing exactly one time this season, and I think that was like 250, if I remember looking that up. They have not given up 300. The Jags, they got nowhere to go, baby. Give me the Cowboys -4.5.
Yeah, I think you have to lean towards Dallas here. I mean, the big concern right now is their offensive line after Steele got hurt and he's done for the year. You don't know if Tyron Smith is going to come back and do anything. Trevon Diggs is questionable. Brown is now done for the year. So you have to wonder, will Jacksonville be able to attack that pass defense with so many injuries in the secondary? But in the end, can you really trust Trevor Lawrence? I mean, look at Rocky. This is who Trevor Lawrence is. Can you trust this guy? I say no. I'm going to take Dallas.
Part of that is the pass rush, too, of the Dallas Cowboys that I think force opposing quarterbacks into bad decisions, or at the very least give them less time to survey the field and go through the progression. So, anyway, Loud, what do you got?
Yeah, the Texans just about beat the Cowboys. The Jaguars really put it on the Titans. I believe the Cowboys are going to win this game, but I'm going to go with the home team to cover the 4.5 here in this game.
Yeah, and I forgot to mention that when I was talking about the number being skewed because Jacksonville won. It was also skewed because the Dallas Cowboys almost lost. So, yeah, there you go. Thanks for reminding me that there, bud. Taking a little dog spot there with the Jags. Rocky?
4.5 points? Are you kidding me? Did everybody forget how the Cowboys have been playing all year and how the Jaguars have been playing all year? Give it to me. I would take the Cowboys here +10 or -10. Come on.
Okay.
It's the Jaguars.
But it's your twin brother.
Exactly. I've been rooting for them all year, and he's failed me every single week until last.
Fair. All right. The Kyler Murray-less Arizona Cardinals come to the Mile High City to take on the Broncos. The Cardinals currently 2.5 point underdog. This line has switched exactly 5 points because before the Kyler Murray injury, it was 2.5 points in favor.
A lot of places, a lot of books, it's 3 now too.
Up to 3, yeah. And I've got it at a juiced 2.5 at 125. So yes, that's if it ain't there yet, it's coming quickly everywhere to a sports book near you. The total in this game is 39, and that's what I'm far more interested in. The Broncos, they have a lot of injuries themselves with Wilson, Sutton, Hinton, Mike Boone, and left guard Dalton Reisner, all questionable. The defense, we saw them shut down Kansas City in the second half. We've seen this team play unders all year long. I think that Kansas City game was an aberration. Picking this game on Tuesday without seeing the health of everybody listed, I'm taking the under 39.
I think you
I'm
have
sorry,
to take.
I'm sorry. There's been an adjustment in that line as well. It's gone down to 36, and I don't care.
Yeah, it's 36.5 at most books that I'm looking at here. But you're right. I mean, going into that game against Kansas City, Denver had gone under the total in 11 out of 12 games this season. I get that Arizona's defense is terrible, but realistically, can you count on Denver's offense to do anything? Conventional wisdom says no. The one fun thing, the Broncos have now covered back-to-back games for the first time since weeks 8 and 9 of last season. The good thing you can say if you're backing the Cardinals here is, hey, at least they're not playing at home because they're 1-12 in their last 13 in Glendale. Even with Colt McCoy, I can't trust the Cardinals. Cliff Kingsbury, blew a chance for them to beat New England yesterday, going for it on that 4th and 1 play where they decided to throw a pass right before the half, and that swung the game. I can't trust Kingsbury. In a battle of bad coaches, I'll lean Denver, but I'm going to take the under.
In a battle of 2023 coordinators. All right, very good.
Or college coaches.
Yeah, Loud, what do you got?
Here's some of the scintillating scores from the Broncos this season. 16-9 over the Texans, 11-10 over the 49ers, losing 12-9 to the Broncos, 16-9 losers to the Jets. Don't forget the scintillating Ravens game where they kept it close and lost 10-9. Yeah, I'm with the under in this. A backup quarterback playing for the Cardinals who suck anyway, and Broncos can't score with the aberration of last week. I don't think Wilson plays this week. It's a mess. This is going to be like watching paint dry. I'm with you under the 36.5.
You guys are all talking about Kyler Murray being out. Nobody has mentioned the big injury for the Cardinals. Big Red went down with the broken ankle, trying to do a backflip before the game. I think the Cardinals are going to be emotionally damaged from this game. Both teams might be starting a backup quarterback. I'm taking whichever team didn't lose their mascot this week, so the Broncos.
Just out of curiosity, how far do you think the line would switch again if they rule Wilson out?
I think it probably
goes
goes
20s?
Close to a pick 'em. Talk about the total in the 20s. 29.5.
Yeah, I wonder how low that total would go.
I was going to say
32?
34. But maybe 30, maybe lower than that. And you could be
31.5.
Oh, man. What a world. What a world. All right. How about little Titans and Chargers out there in L.A.? Rocky, good tickets still available, buddy. I bet you could steal one for about $12 for this game. Chargers, 3-point home favorites, 46 is the number. Hey, good news, Titans fans. Your run defense is really good. Bad news is nobody knows it because your defense against the pass is absolute trash. The offense is trash. Pass defense looks like a pile of oily rags looking for a spark. And more bad news for Titans fans. Chargers don't care about running the football. They pretty much said, yeah, we're not going to do that. But good news is for Chargers fans, got a pretty good, healthy stable of wide receivers there with Palmer, Williams, and Allen, all healthy for the second straight game. And I think that's going to be the spark that sets those oily rags ablaze, if you will. The Titans have given up better than 380 yards through the air in their last 2 games. I think you should also pound those Herbert over and their yardage totals. Give me the Chargers minus the tray.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at a Tennessee team that's 31st against the pass. If it wasn't for the Vikings, they'd be last. Tannehill looked lost last week against Jacksonville. The Chargers, like you said, they don't run the ball, but you know why? Because they just throw it to Austin Eckler. That's their run game. Swing it out to the backs. Swing it to him. Swing it to Kelly. Swing it to anybody else. And like you said, having Allen and Mike Williams back, he was a big factor Sunday night. Herbert, way better than Tannehill. Derrick Henry could run for 200 yards, and it still won't matter. This is a Tennessee team that's trending in the wrong direction. 4th worst in total offense in the league at 296.9 yards a game. They're 26th in scoring at 18.5 points. I'll take the Chargers at home. Herbert probably goes for about 350.
Tennessee's still first place by 2 games, by the way, in their division. Talk about a trash division. Anyway. Loud.
I'd been on the Titans earlier this year, and they had cashed for me a number of times, but the wheels have come off the bus. I'm off the Titans. Give me the Bolts -3.
Derrick Henry is going to be like this the whole game running if the Titans feel like not being like Andy Reid and actually letting him have the ball more. I like the Titans.
Rock, you got the Titans there, buddy. You seem like you're a little tired. You're not pacing yourself. What's up?
I'm a little tired. Just give me a second there.
You a little pick me up?
Little pick me up.
I'm out here on Buccaneers Island by myself. Fair enough. All right, you and me, Tommy. There's the Bengals, baby. There's the Bengals. The Raiders host the Patriots. Patriots raised Patriots 18 points. 44.5 is the number in that one.
Here we go.
Okay. Oh my God, did he? You know what he did? He was going for the smelling salts, and I bet he got them mixed up with the bath salts again. Okay, this could be a minute. You know what we're going to do? We're going to take a break, everybody. But before we do, hey, Loud, how's your picks been running?
Yeah. I'm on a 12-2 NFL run, and I've hit a bunch of best bets, and I'm perfect in the past 2 weeks. My primetime bets, Thursday Night Football, Monday Night Football, Sunday Night Football. So it's been a good run, and you can get my Thursday Night Football best bet for $5. You get a full week of my football picks for $49. Well, considering one best bet pick is $49, I'm going to make at least 6 or 7 picks this week because there's also college bowl games I'll be picking. And best of all, the rest of the season, football and the college bowl season for $149. Now, if that's not enough, if you put in the promo code J7RFQLE60, J7RFQLE60, you get any of those for an additional, or hell, get all of them for an additional 60% off.
There you go. An easy to remember discount code. Once again, thanks, guys. And so, yeah, check out Loud. You can get Chris's place. You can get my place. Check out the winnersandwhiners.com webpage. The great thing about it, when you go to the experts pick, got everybody's record. You can go back as far as you want. You see how everybody's been running lately, and you can make your own decisions. All right? Hey, we're almost done. We got 4 more to go. Stay tuned, and we'll be right back after this.
Rocky Proppys! This is Rocky Proppys! Rocky Proppys! Yes, sir, this rosé is fantastic! Rocky Proppys, I'm gonna eat your face! This is Rocky Proppys! I hear wolves.
My head hurts. How did I get behind an Alsos? I'm Leonard Fortnite, and you're watching the news. Finally, it's been a disappointing season for Bears fans this year, and some of them are pretty fed up. We now go live outside the Bears training facility, where one fan has a solution. Thanks, Leonard. I'm here today with self-proclaimed Bears #1 superfan, Mike Matarski. He, like so many others, is disappointed with the way the Bears season has gone. But, unlike other fans, Mike has a unique solution. Mike?
Yeah, thanks, Cronkite. Look, you guys know me. I'm a Bear. I'm also the Bears #1 super fan. And I don't know about you, but I've had enough. And that's why today I'm announcing a new petition to change the name of the Bears. It's an insult to the fans, and it's especially an insult to actual bears. We're a proud and majestic creature who in no way resembles that collection of stumblebums who've just won one game since the end of September.
Wow, that's a pretty drastic step, Mike. How many signatures are you hoping to get?
I don't know, Slick. How many pissed off Bears fans are there? 5 million? 10 million?
You're right about that. So, Mike, assuming you're successful in getting the name change of a franchise that's been called the Bears for the last 102 years, what new name would you like to see?
Something that more accurately reflects the state of this team. Maybe the Chicago Squirrels, or maybe the Kittens, or the Raiders.
Okay, Mike, we can all see you're pretty fired up.
You're damn right I'm fired up. Hey, here's a name, the Chicago Time Wasters. How about the Chicago Destroyers of Mike's marriage? How about the worthless pieces of...
Wow, sounds like somebody needs a little honey and a month-long nap. Stay safe out there, Jim.
Oh, for the love of God, get this crazy bear off of me! Stop saying bear!
All right, everybody, welcome back. Coming down the home stretch now. Time to run through the tape as we head to Tampa Bay, and the Bengals come to town as 3.5-point favorites over the woeful Bucs. 44 is your number. Cincinnati, man, talk about a team that's a little warm right now. 9-2 straight up over their last 11, 10-1 against the number. Oof. But here's the deal, kids. They've beaten just 4 teams in that stretch with winning record. The Jets, the Dolphins, the Chiefs, and the Titans. Okay, that's fine. People ready to say that Brady is done? Maybe so. But you know what? If he's not, this is just the kind of game in which he excels. Back against the wall, lead down to 1 game in the division. Tampa Bay defense, they struggle with good running attacks. That is not what Cincinnati has. I think TB12 and the Buccaneers shock the world again. Give me the Buccaneers plus 3.5.
I have to hope that happens, but I can't really have a ton of faith in a Tampa Bay team that is looked about as inept offensively as, most of the teams that play, all the FCS schools that play FBS teams during the regular season. I get the Bengals could deal with an injury here because Trey Hendrickson broke his wrist Sunday. He won't go on IR apparently, but they know he obviously isn't going to play this week. But let's face it, we're talking about a Tampa Bay team. They've been horrible. You look at their recent performances, 7 against the 49ers where they couldn't beat Brock Purdy. They had to rally with those 2 touchdowns to beat New Orleans. They lost to Cleveland in overtime. They beat the Seahawks in Munich. I mean, they've broken the 20-point mark once in their last 5 games, and that got them all the way up to 21. Cincinnati, they might be without Higgins. He's questionable again. So is Hayden Hurst. But we're talking about, a Tampa Bay defense that's banged up. Murphy Bunting is questionable. Antoine Winfield is questionable. Mike Edwards is questionable. Vita Vea is questionable. Jamal Dean is questionable. I mean, if none of those guys play, or even if some of them play, they're going to be hampered. And we saw Cincinnati get big plays from such luminaries as Trent Taylor and Trenton Irwin in the passing game the other day. I'm going to take the Bengals and give the points as much as I'd like to see Tampa Bay win, just to knock Cincinnati back a little bit in the AFC playoff picture.
Yeah, Father Time is undefeated and has caught up with Tampa Bay. They look old and slow. The Bengals minus 3.5 for me.
Steehn, you mentioned how the Bengals have only beaten 4 teams with a winning record. Lucky for them, do the Buccaneers have a winning record?
No, they do not.
They do not.
Yeah, they're 1 game under. Yeah, 6-7.
They do not. So that's an easy win for the Bengals. Take them.
Okay, I'm out on Buccaneers.
Bengals are 10-3 against the number this year. Tampa Bay is 3-9-1.
I'm out here on Buccaneers. I'm out here on Buccaneers Island by myself. Fair enough. All right. You and me, Tommy. Let's get it done.
Mutiny.
We're headed to Vegas, baby. Headed to Vegas. The Raiders host the Patriots. Patriots road favorite of 1 point. 44.5 is the number in that one. You know, this is a full disclosure. I usually prepare for this show. I usually take Monday and do all the NFL picks. I leave the two teams that are playing on Monday night until Tuesday to do it. I didn't do this one, but I did have an opportunity to watch that game last night. I watched this Patriots team. I think the Raiders are going to have nothing for them. I just do not have confidence in this Raiders team. Too many questions. Certainly on the defensive side of the ball, Raiders offense has been inconsistent. The Patriots look like they are a team on a mission. I really wanted to look for a reason to back the home team here. I didn't find any on Monday night. Therefore, I'm going to go with the Patriots minus the 1 point.
I'm just curious how New England is a team on a mission when they had lost 2 straight going into yesterday.
I understand because they looked like a team that realized their backs were against the wall, and it's now or never.
I mean, the thing that I hate about the Raiders is the fact that, they wilted against Baker Mayfield and let him go 98 yards in the last, minute and a half
Scandalous.
of that game. But, the Raiders did what the Raiders have done for decades, and that's find ways to commit stupid penalties to lose a game. You pick off a pass, it gets overturned for pass interference. You get a sack, it gets overturned because you commit a stupid unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. The Raiders find ways to make games really irritating if you try to back them. I don't really like New England. Anybody that knows the AFC East knows that New England is a thorn in the side of everybody. They've got a slew of injuries. Darren Waller's supposed to be back for the Raiders. I don't really have a ton of faith in it, but I'm going to lean towards the Raiders. I also think this one will end up staying under the number of 44.5. I just don't see a bunch of points being scored because, let's face it, the Patriots are a pop gun offense. They got a defensive touchdown yesterday, too. They're 4-0 to the under in their last 4 against the AFC, 7-1 in their last 8 playing on Sunday after a Monday night game. And they've stayed under in 5 of their last 6 overall. Meanwhile, the Raiders under in each of their last 4 games in December and in 8 of their last 9 after giving up less than 90 yards on the ground. I don't think we're going to see a ton of points. I'll take the under, and if I had to pick one way, I'd lean towards the Raiders just because of my obvious disdain for Bill Belichick and the Patriots.
As the lone Raiders fan here who follows this team extremely closely, the worst possible thing that could happen is the Raiders to win a few more games this season because they need all the draft capital and draft help they can get. Every time they win, they're dropping further in the draft order, which means they're going to win this meaningless game against the Patriots, which is totally against their own interests. So give me the Raiders to eke out the win here and hurt themselves at the same time.
I think both of these two teams are very similar. Both of them can't figure out whether they want to win or lose. Meanwhile, Mac Jones has only thrown a game 3 times with more than 7.5 yards per attempt. A lot of those look like they're in the 5s. I think that if the Raiders can keep pace offensively, they're going to force enough Mac Jones strip sacks to win the game. Raiders.
All right, next up on the sheet is the Sunday night game. The Giants travel to our nation's capital, take on the Commanders. Commanders 4.5 point home favorites. Who'd have thunk it 2 months ago, huh? 40 is the number. It seems like deja vu all over again, to quote the great Yogi Berra. Commanders had a bye week last week after playing the Giants the week before, and that game ended 20-20 in a game that really nobody wanted to win, apparently. They've had 2 weeks to prepare, to watch film, and to see what they did wrong, see what they did right, see what can be exploited. The Giants, well, they were busy getting trucked by the Eagles. I think it makes a difference, and I think it makes a difference in this one. Commanders, minus 4.5.
Yeah, I think you have to go with Washington right now. The Giants trending in the wrong direction. They got run on by Philadelphia. What do you think Washington's going to do? They had a lot of success with Brian Robinson running the ball against the Giants 2 weeks ago. The big question is, will Chase Young play this week? Does it matter? Probably not, considering the way the Giants have looked offensively. The one thing that concerns me is I see that Carson Wentz on the injury report is listed now as probable. For God's sake, are they going to put him into
No way.
and
No
play
way.
in this game?
No.
No, not a chance.
No way.
Because he's listed as probable, and it says Wentz has been activated from the injured reserve list with a fractured ring finger, but it's anticipated he will partake in Sunday's showdown versus the Giants.
I don't see it. That's insanity. That is insanity. If they start Carson Wentz over Heineke.
But the Giants with a slew of injuries on both sides of the ball. Barkley hasn't looked great the last few weeks, and Daniel Jones. Well, let's be honest, he doesn't really have anyone to throw to. I mean, when you're picking guys off the practice squad and the scrap heap and everything else, and they're your suddenly number one receiver, where have you gone, Kenny Golladay? A nation casts its lonely eyes to you. I'm going to take Washington winning going away.
Yeah, I'm with you. The Commanders, I love Taylor Heineke, quarterback. I think they should give him a real shot, extend him a couple years and see what he can do. So I like the Commanders -4.5 at home against the G-men.
Yeah, very good. Just for the record, the Commanders 5-1-1 with Heineke at the helm. So for what that's worth.
And I just found they flexed the Patriots Raiders game was supposed to be Sunday night.
Oh, there you go.
They moved it to Sunday afternoon.
Good to know. All right.
Yeah, why inflict that on the nation? We've taken enough in the past few years.
Fair. Rock, what you got?
Well, instead, we'll take an NFC East matchup again. At least this one might be kind of good. Brian Daboll and the Giants have taken a big old nosedive straight into a crater. But the last time they played, they tied. I don't like the 4.5 here. It's sneaky. I've learned. It's been 14 weeks. I've kind of learned. I like the Giants here to cover. I don't think they're going to win. I think it's a 3-point game.
Okay. Very good. You see on Twitter a lot, people asking the question, can you flex a Monday night game? Well, the answer is no. How do I know that? Well, because the Rams and the Packers are still playing on Monday night. That's how you know. Packers are at home, 7.5-point favorite against the Rams. 40 is the number. Kids, the Rams, they looked done. Absolutely cooked. Not interested in the season anymore. But you know who is interested in the rest of the season? It's Baker Mayfield, because he likely is playing for his career, or at least his career as a viable starter. I think he's got a week with the playbook now, a week plus under his belt. The Rams defense probably going to be without Donald again, but even without Donald, they held the Raiders to 16 points last game. Packers, they were very fortunate to cover against the Bears. I know because I had them, and they could have easily lost that game. I think the Rams, a touchdown plus is too much. I'll take the Rams to keep it close enough there in the frozen tundra. Give me the Rams plus 7.5.
Well, on the plus side, this line has gone down to 7. On the other plus side, at least starting next year, you'll be able to start flexing Monday night games in 2023 in the month of December.
Oh, well, there you
go. That's at least a plus, so we won't get stuck with some of these sucky games. I don't know if I can buy into Baker Mayfield based on what he did against the Raiders. There's a big difference between playing against a bad team where currently they're projecting the weather in Green Bay to be about 7. I'm going to see what the weather is for Monday. I know Aaron Rodgers, like you said, this is a team going nowhere. You have to wonder, will Jordan Love be a factor? Yeah, the weather looks not overly favorable. Get that great mid-December cold snap up there in the cheese state. High temperature Monday is supposed to be 15, the low of 4. So come game time, it'll probably be, cold. We saw that the Packers. We saw the Packers run the ball a little bit with Jones and Dillon. They should be doing that more often. I just don't know if the Rams have enough weapons when you're throwing the Ben Skoranek and Tutu Atwell, and do they have a third receiver? I'll take Green Bay just because I can't buy Baker Mayfield based on one good quarter.
7 degrees is what I'm looking at as a nighttime projection with 15 to 20 mile an hour wind. and an 83% humidity, small chance of snow, small chance of rain. Neither one of these teams is going anywhere. It's hard to play in very cold conditions when you're really not interested in the game. I'm going to take the under 40 here. I don't care who wins. There's just not going to be a whole lot of scoring.
By the way, Chris, you are disrespecting the great Van Jefferson as the third Los Angeles wide receiver.
I think he was on a milk carton for most of the season. I would rather see George Jefferson or Van Morrison.
Fair enough.
Him and Allen Robinson.
Rocky?
Yeah, I'm with you guys here. We're talking about Baker Mayfield. We saw what Baker Mayfield did with the playbook with the Panthers. Maybe it was the fact that he didn't have a playbook that he was all right on Thursday. My play here is over 18,000 people on Monday night having to hope Allen Lazard can catch 3 balls for them to advance in fantasy football playoffs.
Hey, I have Allen Lazard in my fantasy team, so
there you go.
And you might be there on Monday night. Yep, you might be there on Monday night, down 7.5 points, needing Allen Lazard.
Truth to power. So who's going
to happen?
Who you got winning it, buddy?
Oh, Packers.
Okay. Packers win and cover the 7. I got to tell you, I'm not nearly as excited now that it's gone down to 7 as I was at 7.5. Probably still leaning that way, but I really wanted that 7. I really wanted that hook. So, all right, guys, that's the show for this week. 16 games down.
Wee-hee.
Very good. As always, I want to thank my guests for joining us. Chris, where can we find you?
Well, you can usually find me on Winners and Winers, writing about just about everything under the sun. Or, like you said, at the top of the show, you can catch me on Saturday mornings at 9 a.m. Eastern on the Winners and Winers YouTube channel for just parlays with B, because there's nobody else on the show. And we'll cover, this week, obviously, with bowl season going on, we'll be talking about some of the college bowls. We'll be talking about, of course, the NFL games, a lot of college hoops, of course, now that we're in the heart of that season, along with the NBA, the NHL, and God knows what else will come up. Every Saturday morning at 9 a.m., right there on the Winners and Winers YouTube channel. Be there.
Okay, very good, very good. And Loud, where can we catch you, sir?
Winners and Winers, and of course at Winners and Winers YouTube. And I'm going to be doing a bunch of videos on upcoming bowl games, so check those out.
All right, very good. Rocky, where can we find you?
I'm on Twitter at Rocky Foré. Also, I'll be very close to Antarctica in the southern hemisphere, trapped in a glacier, waiting for someone to let me out.
All right, sounds like a plan.
Still haven't gotten that money back from the Bakersfield Rec Center, have you?
Nope. They have not responded to any of my emails anymore.
All right,
block me.
As always, we've had a great time doing it for you. That's Rocky Foré. I'm Scott Steehn. You guys have a great week. Good luck on all your NFL plays. Good luck on all your bowl games. And we'll be back next time. Hey, don't forget to comment. Don't forget to drop us a comment. Could make you $100 richer. All right, drop that comment in the comment section. And until next week, you guys have a great time. Hope you get all your Christmas shopping done. We'll see you next time on Once Upon a Time in Las Vegas, the rise of the greatest sports betting show in the world. Take care, everybody.
In this line of work, you need acting prowess as well as tactical skill. Watch me hit this pole. That's why you should pick me, Rocky Foré. Because when I'm on your team, it's not going to